of irresponsible actions, as explained in the next verse. Let's go back to the previous verse, 44. These demons, the followers of Kamsa, were expert at persecuting others, especially the Vaishnavas, and could assume any form they desired. After giving these demons permission to go everywhere and persecute the saintly persons, Kamsa entered his palace. There's one point should be noted, that these demons, the followers of Kamsa, were expert at persecuting the Vaishnavas. They could assume any form. That means maybe they can appear as your relatives, maybe like your father, like Hiranyakasipu to Prahlad Maharaj. And maybe they would appear like your friend, like your before you joined Krishna consciousness, you have so many friends. And when you joined, they would criticize you, saying, "Are you mad? Are you foolish? What are you doing?" And maybe they become your boss, or your colleagues, or your classmates. So many possibilities. Or even they could appear in our hearts. So this is something we should be very careful about. And then back to today's main verse with purport 45. Here it is mentioned for whom impending death was waiting, because they don't know what is good, what is bad. So here Shukadev Goswami, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to this very verse, up to now, already Shukadev Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, 9 cantos already finished, now it's the 10th canto. And we know that Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahman boy, Shringi. He has only 7 days left. So now he has probably only 2 or 3 days left. And such intense point, he heard that Krishna just took birth, and Kamsa and his followers are intensely trying to prosecute. And Kamsa even gave an order that all the babies born in all the villages in his kingdom, around 10 days of old, they should be killed. Then what to do? So in Parikshit Maharaj, he is a devotee, he has natural love for Krishna. He's so much worried and he has so much fear. This is not the fear for himself, but the fear for his beloved Lord. So in order to pacify him, Shukadev Goswami said, "Don't worry, because they are surcharged with moral passion and ignorance. They are delusioned by ignorance, and they are influenced by the moral passion, so they don't know what is the good thing to do, they don't know what is the bad thing to do. And because they are looking after this bodily and mental pleasure, so this kind of mentality covered their consciousness, so they cannot perceive their spiritual existence. For them, impending death is waiting, don't worry. And more serious consequences of their offenses is mentioned in the next verse. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada quoted from Bhagavad Gita 2.13, and telling us these people, they don't know about the soul, why they're making such mistakes. So back in 1976, April 22, in Melbourne, Srila Prabhupada is giving one Bhagavad Gita class on night 4. So at the end of Srila Prabhupada's class, there's one guest asking Srila Prabhupada one question. The guest is asking, why people can become so cruel? Why they can persecute other human beings and torture them? How they are able to do this? And Srila Prabhupada answered, because they are not in their natural condition. By the dictation of Maya, they are thinking, this is my enemy, this is my friend. And therefore, they want to kill their enemies, they want to make friendship with that demon. Therefore, they are not following the Bhagavad Gita's instruction. So Srila Prabhupada, he quoted from Bhagavad Gita 1854, the last part, Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labhatem param. Unless you see every living entity on the equal platform, otherwise you cannot really start to perform pure devotional service. You don't have this equal vision. You cannot perform devotional service. And you would always be thinking, this is my enemy, this is my friend. You're always choosing like that. But who is your enemy? Who is your friend? We are thinking the happiness is very, very great thing to look after for. But the sages told us, even the great happiness in this material world is also a distress. Krishna points out in Bhagavad Gita 8.15, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This is a place full of miseries. And the next verse, 8.16, Abrahma bhuvana loka. From the highest planet, Brahma Loka, down to the lowest planet. All places of misery. And then what to do? Unless Mam upetya tu konteya, Mam upetya, unless you attain me, attain my abode, Krishna told, oh, son of Kunti, Arjuna, punarjama navedyate, never take a birth again. Because here is a place where repeated birth and death are taking place. This is what we should be cautious of. We think it's a very happy place, but the material world, Durga always using the tridents, the 3 points, piercing us. Adibodhika klesha, adhyatmika klesha, and adidevika klesha. And she's trying to convince us, don't stay here, try and go back to Godhead. But still we don't understand. That's why Srila Prabhupada, he quoted from Ursvadev Shiksha. This is coming from the 5th canto, Nunam pramata kurute vikarma. Nunam, indeed. Pramata means mad. And when Srila Prabhupada is giving class on this verse, he said, the people in this material world is not only mad, but sufficiently mad. Kurute, execute. They're sufficiently mad, then what they do? What they execute, they're doing vikarma, all the sinful activities. Because they set up a goal, they set up the aim of the life is sense gratification. Therefore, they don't discriminate. They're like mad, involved in materialistic life and do all kinds of sinful activities. And for them, they forgot why they got this body, because due to their past life's misdeeds, they got the present body. And then what they're doing now would create another body. So, as a gentleman, it is not befitting to be involved again and again in the materialistic activities. And therefore, you are getting one body after another body and suffer endlessly in this material world. So for a devotee, he doesn't care. For him, this is Svargaloka, Naraka, hellish planets, Tuliyarta Darshina. He sees everything equal value. So for a devotee, they are not afraid of curse. Because usually we get so much difficulties in this material world, we have a tendency to develop this kind of persecution complex. We get pressures, peer pressures, family pressures, and social pressures. Then sometimes we are a little down and we let those things to deter our devotional service. But that doesn't worthwhile. We can learn from the examples, illustrious examples from Srimad Bhagavatam. See how they are confronting such persecution coming from all aspects of life. Famous example, Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu. It is said Hiranyakashipu, as a father, he tried more than 108 ways to kill his 5-year-old son because he likes to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But what is the end? Prahlad, he has such faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind never deviated from the meditation to Lord's holy name. And then finally, although Hiranyakasipu is so powerful, he can even change the karma of the universe. He can reverse. You do something pious, you get bad karma. You do something impious, you get good karma. Even he moves his eyebrows, all the demigods are frightened. But Lord Nrsingadev only using his nails and cut him into pieces. He's no longer existing anymore. And another example we can think about in Srimad Bhagavatam is King Vena. Actually, he comes from the lineage of Dhuma Maharaj, very powerful forefathers for him. But he's presenting himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he's even telling the Brahmanas, okay, please offer the first oblation of your sacrifice unto me. I am the king. I am the Supreme Lord. You should all worship me. The sages, they cannot tolerate. Those sages give him nice advice and suggestions, but he's not taking any of them. So the sages are furious, and they loudly shouting, kill him, kill him. So in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned, the great sages didn't use any weapons. Simply by their high-sounding words, they killed him. For him, destiny already there. He is destined to be killed while he was breathing because he did such bad things. Another example, very famous, is happening between Lord Shiva and Daksha. Daksha, sometimes he was called the greatest ascetics. He's doing great tapasya. He has so much power, so one time he enters the sacrificial arena. In Bhagavatam itself mentioned he is so beautiful and powerful, as brilliant as the sun. All the demigods are paying obeisances. They all raise from seat and pay him their due respects to him, even including all the fire gods. Even Lord Brahma give him proper respect. But there's only one person, Lord Shiva. He's always meditating the Supreme Lord. He didn't raise up from his seat to pay obeisances to Daksha, his father-in-law. So Daksha got so angry. He's saying something. He says, oh, this Shiva, he's not a gentleman. He doesn't follow any good manners. He's not taking bath. He's wearing skull's bones as garlands on his body, and he's smearing the crematorium ashes all over his body. So he's insulting Lord Shiva in this way. And one thing here we have to mention related to the next verse, because Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha, he had a one-line comment to this verse. He said, Maha Atikrama, this trespassing against great personalities. Also, he translated this term as persecution to the sages. He said, this including to use the words to criticize. So we understand when Daksha is insulting Lord Shiva, actually he's persecuting Lord Shiva, the greatest Vaishnava. And what is the result? Before he was so brilliant, so beautiful as the sun. Even the fire gods, all the demigods, Lord Brahma is paying respects to him. But then he was killed and he got a goat's head. Every day, every morning he wakes up, he looks at the mirror. He cannot tolerate where his beautiful face. Now it's a shago's head, a goat's face. He cannot tolerate it, so he has to give up his life. And he again doing tapasya for 7 kalpas and get another birth, look like a human being. But again he makes same mistake. He cursed another devotee, great devotee Narada Muni. So we have to expect